Manchester United stuck in a transfer triangle. We're talking Ederson, we're talking Douglas Luiz, we're talking Kaneseke. Update on Jadon Sancho as well. Who are Manchester United adding to their backroom staff? All of that in this afternoon's show, everybody. We've got more and more coming in as well. An update on Brian Mbeumo, Manchester United's PSR. Rush. We'll talk about that as well and everything else along with your comments this afternoon. Thank you again, everybody. If you are joining me slightly earlier and you are live, we are doing it a bit earlier today. I've got a presentation night tonight, so cannot do the normal slot. So bringing you an earlier show just to keep you up to date with all of the news. I may sneak out later if any news does break, just to bring you all of the details of it. I'll be keeping an eye on things, but I doubt it. It has been a quiet day, but we've had some really interesting updates today regarding Jadon Sancho and obviously that transfer triangle that I was alluding to just then. Which is involving Douglas Luiz, Ederson, and another playoff regarding what Manchester United could possibly do if they went one way of this window or another way of this window. I'm talking about Manchester United here going for a keeper and a midfielder, or a midfielder and a striker. That seems to be the way it's going at the moment. In the rumours that are going around, most of them are around the midfield mark and the goalkeeper. At the moment, we've got JUVENTUS, and that's it. Nothing more development-wise on JUVENTUS this afternoon. So we'll leave that one there and move on to the other topics. Now, Manchester United are still monitoring Douglas Luiz. Now, Manchester United have stumbled upon the price and the costing of Douglas Luiz. We found this out. So this is where it all starts. So I'll get into this one. Manchester United are interested in Douglas Luiz. The problem they've got is, and these are reports, Marco Alcaraz was running this as well earlier on, is saying that Manchester United are concerned with Douglas Luiz regarding his injury record from last season. I think he missed 20 games through injury. He had a muscle issue. My thoughts on this, again, he isn't going to be overplayed at Manchester United. We just need somebody in who can play the majority of the Premier League games, I think, more than anything. And I think he got through around about 30 games in total last season. I think late 20s, 30 games this last season. He's fit now, and obviously Manchester United need a midfielder. And so Leeds have actually contacted Juventus with trying to find out the conditions of the Douglas Luiz transfer. So yeah, Leeds United, newly promoted, and in this they have found out that Douglas Luiz is being priced at around 21 million by Juventus. Now, these may have come from Leeds sources. These may have come out earlier on, and obviously we'll check the actual standing of the journalist, whoever it is, talking about this. But this is a report from Gazzetta dello Sport in terms of what they have negotiated with Leeds, Juventus that is. So it's coming from the Italian side of things. I don't know the exact journalist at the moment. So again, like I said, I'll try and find out who that is. But they're saying that Leeds have been told that Douglas Luiz is 21 million. Not an issue. It's not a bad price for Manchester United, but Leeds cannot make this happen because of the wage demands of Douglas Luiz. And ready for it, check this out, a big whopping, I'm saying this sarcastically, £82,000 a week Leeds cannot afford. Now, I'm sorry, yes, you could probably say that there is one price for one club and one price for another club, but if they are the sort of parameters, and that's what we're looking at in this deal, then Manchester United know they can fully afford Douglas Luiz. I don't think this means that Manchester United is just going to go in for him because he's cheap. I don't think that's the case at all. I think Manchester United are obviously, weighing up the situation. At least they know now exactly what Douglas Luiz is going to cost, which is probably why they're looking in detail and looking in depth at his injury record. This is something that we didn't do, if you remember, when we bought someone like Mason Mount. This, I think, is where United have gone wrong before as well. So Douglas Luiz's injury record is definitely something that we do need to pick up on. So when we're looking at this and we feel like this is too much, we'll check the history and the history upon that as well to make sure that this is the right deal. I'm going to be saying this right now. If United are thinking of Douglas Luiz, and I like him, I think he's a good player, I think he's got absolute quality in him and he is Prem proven, but if he has got any sort of recurring injury issue, he's off the list instantly. See you later. Don't be wasting any money. As cheap as it is, there's a reason why Juventus are letting him go, and that's what you've got to start thinking about here. Now, you could put this all together and say, well, Man United, really, if you were looking for a bargain basement deal and you're looking for something to happen, you could actually look at this and say, well, Douglas Luiz, as they say now, we're looking at potentially him for 21 million, Dusan Vlahovic for 17 million, and there's 38 million quid. We could get the striker and the midfielder in that we need. United are not going to operate that way. they're not going to do it. They're going to be looking at players that Ruben wants. This is why, even if the deal looks cheap and looks affordable for United, they're still going to check out everything to do with that player and make sure that he fits at Manchester United. That's what we're up against right now. It's obviously poor recruitment from the past is always going to hamper Manchester United when we're going forward. This, I think, is where United have had the biggest problem in the past with the people working at the club that just don't know what they're doing. And it's going to be interesting to see, because obviously in terms of people not knowing what they are doing, Manchester United are looking to bring in to the fold as well on the backroom staff. I don't know if you've seen this earlier on. Acacio Valentim, I think that's how you say the name anyway. But he is the man behind he's the team and operations director at Braga. And apparently he turned them around. Again, United filling their backroom staff with very knowledgeable football people. I think that's the right way to go forward. And this, like I just said a moment ago, is where we have lacked drastically in the past. So United looking at bringing in another member of staff, support staff for Ruben Amorim. And again, like if he is proven and got proven quality behind the scenes, that's good. But Manchester United, I feel, are already on top of this. And when it comes to the transfers and it comes to Douglas Luiz in this situation, yes, it sounds like an absolute bargain, doesn't it? It sounds like we're looking here at the ideal replacement, or even a player on top of what we've already got. The bonus of Luiz right now is that we have got a player there that can play in multiple central midfield positions, that can give us that experience, can give us that X factor, that steal in midfield that we haven't got. Has played at the highest level, isn't going to be put off by the Premier League. We've got all of that there. It's brilliant. But what we have got is an injury concern. And that, I think, is where Manchester United need to make sure that this deal is right. 21 million on 82 grand a week. That is absolute bargain basement for Manchester United when we're looking at trying to make a deal happen. And he has got the quality. Make sure that you get the deal that you need to get, I think, is what we're saying here with Manchester United, though. And on top of that, make sure that he's actually going to play. Because it doesn't matter how cheap you get him for. If he's not going to be on the pitch, you know this fan base, he's going to be paying for blood. The knives are being sharpened already. Mason Mount was a massive mistake for Manchester United in what we did. And they don't want to make that mistake again. They're scared that something might actually go wrong with any deal, I think, going forward now. And to be honest, I'm glad they're doing what they're doing. If they're unsure about Douglas Luiz, then I'm happy about that. That just means that they're doing the job properly. And that's the interesting side of things. We're going to move on to Ederson in a minute. Luiz is a two-person deal if it will be for PR. And that's from Mark. Good to see you back in the chat, Mark. Thanks for that super chat, mate. Tom has also said, just received my shirts today, buzzing with them. Nice one, Tom. Again, people asking about the kits and everything, where I get all of my shirts from. The link is in the live chat. I'm sure one of the mods will drop it in there for you, everyone. Go and check out that website. That's where I get mine from. Some absolute bargains and some crackers on there as well. So any Mad United fan looking to get a shirt or one of the ones from the past, go and give it a look and see what you think. Luiz on 82 grand at Juve. He will want 150 grand. Well, he can't be that. He can't be that demanding. I don't think he won't end up moving. Like, obviously, you're at the top level now with Juventus. That's what he's on right now. Manchester United won't go near that. And again, this is why I think Manchester United are doing the right work right now. This, I think, when you look at it in detail, I think is exactly what Manchester United fans would hope we would do. And yeah, there is the clamour. Yeah, there is the clamour for Manchester United to bring players in. There is indeed. But what we're also looking at here is Manchester United due diligence. It's something that we've never done before. And this, I think, is why we're in a position now where we feel comfortable with the deals that we've got. I think we've got a good value in the ones that we've already done this summer in Mbeumo and Cunha, and we're just making sure that everything else fits into place. We're making sure that everything is right on these other deals, because they are going to be key deals next summer, like I've said. And I think United will spending a lot more on these positions next summer rather than spending a lot of money on these positions next summer, like the central midfield role, because I don't think there's a midfielder out there right now that United really feel they can get who is top-notch. Say, for instance, like going out and buying, like I've said before, an Adam Wharton, or like what Arsenal did with Declan Rice, knowing that's the exact player that you need, and you're going to go out and you're going to spend everything on that player. I think United have done that in Cunha and in Mbeumo. I don't think Luiz is that type of player. I don't think Vlahovic is that type of player. Ederson might be that type of player. Now, that's where we move on to the other side of things. Ederson at Atalanta is a different level and a different kettle of fish altogether. He's a great engine. He's got an engine and some. His price right now, the noises we've heard are between 40 and 60 million. This would be a top target for Manchester United. This would be us not spending money on a midfielder next summer because we've got the top target already. How Manchester United make this happen? Well, this is what we're doing now. This is what we're negotiating. Ruben Amorim, apparently, according to reports, has actually given the green light to go for Ederson. That's all good and well, but can you still make the deal happen? We've just found out that Manchester United are preparing a bid in the region of 34 million, apparently, for Kanaseki, the goalkeeper at Atalanta. Whether or not United can double deal this up, I really don't like dealing with Atalanta. The fact that they did try and raise that price as soon as they found out that Manchester United were coming for Kanaseki was embarrassing on their part. And I just feel like United right now need to just stay clear of that sort of deal. They don't need to go there. There are other options out there. And unfortunately for me, I love Ederson. I just don't think Manchester United are going to go deep into negotiations for him. Unless Ruben says to the board, I want him. Forget about the striker for now. I want him. So this is what we're looking at. We're looking at a potential double deal maybe for Kanaseki and Ederson, or Vlahovic and Douglas Luiz. The two ends of the spectrum, really. You've got top keeper, top midfielder. I daren't say second rate, but you know what I mean? These are players that want out of Juventus. So we're not having to fight to get these players. They're on a plate. And that's always worrying for me. Would you rather go and get players that you really want, or would you get the players that are easy to get? Now, I'm sure Manchester United have done both of these before. We all know they have. The worrying side of it is we haven't got a good record in either way, either avenue, have we? And when you look at Kanaseki and Ederson, both unproven Premier League players, you could argue the same with Vlahovic on the Juventus side. Are you getting anything better in Vlahovic and Douglas Luiz than you would in the other two? You could argue that Douglas Luiz and Ederson are on a similar level, aren't they? They are, but I just think Ederson's more available. I think he's got a better engine, personally. And the only thing holding Douglas Luiz up over Ederson is his Premier League proven quality. I think that's the only thing that's stopping anything in terms of or swaying anybody the way of Douglas Luiz. So where we're at with the whole ordeal is we know how much we know how much Douglas Luiz is going to cost Manchester United now from these reports that have come out from Corriere dello Sport. His price tag's in around 21 million. Interestingly enough, exactly the same amount as Jadon Sancho. And I know there is still that link there, and we'll talk about Jadon Sancho next, actually, before I come to the chat. So after I come to the chat, but 21 million for Douglas Luiz. Then you're looking at Ederson, who is 40 to 60 million, easy 40 to 60 million, and then you're looking at the goalkeeper. Every goalkeeper we're looking at the moment is costing quite a bit. You've got Emi Martinez, you've got Diogo Costa, and you've got Kanaseki at Atalanta. And that, I think, is top end. And I think I've said this earlier on this morning. No smoke without fire. And the goalkeepers we're looking at are not number 2 goalkeepers. They're number 1s. So there is something bubbling up with Andre Onana behind the scenes. Whether we believe it or not, or whether we think it's going to happen, that's a different story altogether. But I think we are looking at Manchester United really directing interest to the midfield and goalkeeper side of things in the immediate future, because I think Gyökeres will just drag out throughout the summer. But United do need to fix the other areas. It's pointless waiting for one while other clubs are taking other players away from key positions that you need to bring reinforcements in for throughout the summer. Mark with another super chat says, Adam, we spoke about Ederson 2 summers ago when we had a buyout clause. Trust us to wait and pay more than we needed to. Yeah, and we didn't have this structure or this board in place at that time either. It's annoying, isn't it, being a United fan and how we've conducted business. It really is a real annoyance in terms of what Manchester United have actually accomplished and pretty much set fire to, in my opinion, around this football club over the last few years. Even more, going back more, it's so frustrating, but we're here trying to fix it. And that brings us to Sancho in a moment, actually. But I'll get through a few more of your comments. Modern Samurai, who's just renewed his membership. Thank you, my friend. Forever United TV, smash the likes, please, everybody. Thank you for that one, mate. Thanks for renewing again, Modern, you legend. Compost Smith says, if we can't get a good enough striker on a permanent deal, we move to the next area. Surely, and no point taking choices down the list. Well, on that one, quickly, actually, just wanted to point this one out because it is another story that is going around today, and it regards the pursuit of Rasmus Højlund. Now, this one, I was just like, what are you... seriously? Right, so... this was a report that was going on earlier on. Don't take second rate, is basically what Compost Smurf just said. So is this pretty much that? During discussions between Manchester United and Inter Milan, the Red Devils were offered the chance to sign Mehdi Taremi. And now we've been linked with him several times before. Old striker. Taremi was thrown into the mix by intermediaries acting on behalf of Inter Milan, with the Italian side keen to sell the Iran international. Manchester United's response was politely decline the chance to sign Taremi, a striker the club has no intention of signing. The club stance on Rasmus Højlund remains unaltered. United wants a full sale this summer, uninterested in any swap proposals or loan proposals. That came out before. That was Graham Bailey earlier on today talking about that. So it's just bringing that up there because of what Compost Smurf said. Don't take second-rate strikers and just leave it alone. Again, it is. It's a waste of time, isn't it? Like you've got that argument of bringing a body in just because we need a body, or actually waiting to get the right player in. And it's a good argument to have because obviously these players are not crap. They're not awful. Someone's got to be out there that's better than Rasmus Højlund, for God's sake. But maybe next summer, there is the elite player that you can afford. But then you bring into the argument the fact that we might need to get somebody in this season to get to that elite level, because that's going to be, like we've seen already this summer, for a top striker to come to Manchester United, you're going to have to be in the Champions League. Look, we'll wait and see what happens with Gyökeres, and that may come back and be completely wrong. But we know the stance pretty much so far has been no Champions League, no party. Other positions don't seem to be a problem, but the strikers, my God, like the strikers are all wanting Champions League, aren't they? Like Osimhen, Gyökeres, Delap, everyone so far has been wanting that Champions League move, or guaranteed to be at least in it. I mean, I said it then, like Gyökeres might change his mind further down the line. It looks like he already has, and it looks like that might move forward. But again, I can still see someone else coming in for Gyökeres when this next part of the transfer window opens, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, in terms of Rasmus Højlund, by the way, quickly, we are not looking likely to sell him. We've said this all along. If United are not going to budge off their valuation of him, then no one is going to buy him. And I'm settled with that, and I've taken that in, and I understand it. He's 2 years into his contract. He's had a nightmare second season at Manchester United, and nobody wants to spend money on him. I don't blame him. We can't say that Manchester United are not doing their job right now with Rasmus Højlund for standing up wanting 40 million. That's what we need to do to survive. But who the hell is going to buy Rasmus Højlund for 40 bleeding million? No one in their right mind is the answer to that question. So we're stuck with him. Another season. Maybe next season, after that, and next summer, we might be able to move him on. But at the moment, it looks like Rasmus is our number one striker again. Not wanting to put anyone in a bad mood or anything with that news, but it's just the reality of the situation right now with United and where we're at. Next season will be the most competitive for the title. Ballers are being bought left, right and centre. City are looking sharp at the moment. Liverpool obviously spending well also. Arsenal, well, we're waiting for them to make their move on a striker. We reported on the Sesko situation earlier on today in terms of how that affects Victor Gyökeres and Manchester United. So let's see how that moves on and develops also as well. But it could be something that really does actually gather momentum throughout this window, depending on what other big clubs do with their strikers and what's left for Man United. We'll see, won't we? It could have an effect on things. Anyway, moving forward again to the Jadon Sancho situation. Bit of a transfer dilemma, but something that he is in complete control of, like we said this morning. So Manchester United have gone back to Juventus to try and find out where they are at in terms of this Jadon Sancho deal. They are still at stalemates. There is no breakthrough. So the breakdown, and this is how I read it. I picked up a piece before regarding Jadon Sancho's situation, and this is how it reads. This was written out quite well, actually. It pretty much sums everything up with Jadon Sancho. Fenerbahce, with Mourinho's approval, held an official meeting with Sancho. They approached the player and inquired about his conditions. Fenerbahce did not make a written offer in an official capacity. After learning Jadon Sancho's conditions, contact was made again, but no progress was achieved. Napoli made an official offer to the player with the salary at almost 50% of what the player is on now and what he wants. And Sancho rejected it outright. Juventus came to the table. Sancho wants to play for Juventus, but Juventus offered a very low salary again. The only club that currently meet the net salary is Fenerbahce. But Sancho favours a move to a team who play in one of the top 5 leagues in the world. That is the update on Jadon Sancho's scenario right now. And clearly, you can see where this is going. It's Jadon Sancho's ego that's taken a bit of a hit here, and he wants to still keep face, is where we're at. Jadon Sancho wants the big money, but he wants to play at a big club as well. He thinks he's that good. We are stuck here with this one. So Fenerbahce, as it is, can afford and can meet Sancho's wage demands. They're the only club who can. Napoli and Juventus can't get anywhere near him. So we know that Jadon Sancho isn't going to buckle on his wages. We know this for certain. So the only hope I feel that we've got now, after everything that's been said this week regarding the 2 clubs in Italy and everything that's happened so far with him, is Fenerbahce is the only chance we've got out of this. And he doesn't want to go there, apparently. But there was talks and communication between Sancho's representatives and Fenerbahce. So maybe there is still something in that. I don't know. But Manchester United are pushing on Juventus because they know from Jadon Sancho's side of things that he wants to go there. That's the ideal scenario. Hence why Manchester United might actually be speaking to the likes of Douglas Luiz, monitoring that situation, why we might actually be speaking to Dusan Vlahovic, just to see if something can be done there with both players. But if Sancho won't budge on his wages, any sort of swap deal that you might think was possible, it gets thrown completely out of the window. And it doesn't happen. Why? Because Jadon Sancho wants more money. And that's it. And that's the bottom line when it comes to Sancho. He really feels like he should be on the money that Manchester United are paying him. He feels like that's what he is worth. That's why he said to Manchester United, you will pay my wages if I leave this football club. So United, realistically, right now, are stuck. Because Jadon Sancho knows that the only way out of Manchester United at the moment for him, and it has been the case the last 2 years, is a loan, which takes him to the end of his contract, and United lose everything in terms of any sell-on at all. He just goes and walks, and he goes down in history as one of Manchester United's worst ever transfers. One of our biggest ever transfer mistakes is Jadon Sancho. An absolute embarrassment to himself and Manchester United. But let's not forget in all of this, it's alright me having a go at Jadon Sancho and slagging him off. This was the football club. This was the football club that was at fault. This is the football club that was celebrating. And this, do you know what? Like I've said before, and I'm balanced with everything that I say, but Manchester United, right now, I can see us trying to fix the old Manchester United. I can see what the new structure are trying to do, and I want to give them the chance with this because they're up against it. We're dealing here with Jadon Sancho's mess and what he's doing. He has basically got the club on a string. And he's playing around with Manchester United, taking the mick, taking the piss out of us. That's what Sancho is doing. This is the club that did a deal that left him in the position to do this. This is the club that celebrated Victor Lindelof all over social media. Like, thank you, Victor. Thank you for what? This is the problem with this bleeding football club. Where are the standards? And I said, like, Kaz picked one up. She went away. She showed me a picture before on Instagram. And it was a picture of Luke Shaw on a Manchester United's official account, 11 years, celebrating 11 years at Manchester United. And Kaz's words in this were, read the room, echo everything that Kaz said there. It's like, shut up. Are you seriously putting that out right now? Do these people at Manchester United who run the social media actually understand where this club is at, where the fan base is at, what announcements this club has just made with ticket prices and everything else? And you've got players there that have stole a living for 11 years, not even hitting 300 games in over a decade's worth of contracts. 3 of them, 3 contracts for Luke Shaw, and they're posting that out like it's a bastarded celebration. I'm like, oh God, this club doesn't help itself at all. I try and defend where I can, but I ain't defending that shit. That's where I draw the line. I'm like, you're not helping yourselves there. Like, just get ready for the onslaught. And then, obviously, as you see on social media now, you will see Luke Shaw on this day signs for Manchester United. 11 years later and 200 and odd appearances later, 3 contracts later, Luke Shaw sat back watching the circus with another act in its summer transfer window of trying to get overpaid, overprivileged players out of the door at Manchester United. He sat there waiting it out, and there'll be no time to deal with anything. And he will be part of the squad again next season. And that is Luke Shaw's career in a nutshell. I just cannot believe the club have actually thought that putting that out was actually the right thing to do, honestly. I actually question some of the fans that are actually liking that post. I really do. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Why are we actually trying to celebrate that? So that is what we're dealing with. That's the club that we've got here now. That's the same club and the same structure that gave Jadon Sancho this contract and put him on so much money. The same one that gave Anthony his money. The same one that gave Rashford that big contract. All of this issue that we've got right now from yesteryear at this football club. And it is an embarrassment. And this is what the new team is up against. I guarantee you, like the people in EOS and the people around Manchester United now will be looking at that and going, what the hell are we doing? I know the social media team is one on its own and they are a different department, but you're not helping, is what we're saying. You're definitely not helping the situation here. Let's get more into the chats on this one. Thank you, everybody who is in there already. We've got another super chat in from Ray. Thank you, Ray. I'm just going to bring that up again now. It's gone off my screen. Oh, I've lost it. Right. There it is. I found him again. Right, Ray. Don't think Rasmus a top priority to sell. To be honest, he fell off under Ruben Amorim. I think Amorim should develop him, but all we need is is that another? It's supposed to say another? Yeah, another centre forward to help. Look, I've said this before. I think most Man United fans need to accept that Rasmus Højlund is going to be at the club next season. We just need him to not be Man United's number 1 choice. I understand we can't sell him. If someone came in and spent 40 million, I'd be celebrating like we'd just won the FA Cup final again. I would, because that'd be an amazing deal. Probably not that much. That seems a bit harsh, doesn't it? But you know what I mean? I'd be actually clapping and applauding Manchester United being able to bail themselves out of this transfer. But I knew it was always going to be a struggle. I've always accepted that Manchester United are up against it this summer, and my expectation levels haven't really changed. I can see where Manchester United are trying to improve. I can see the obstacles that are in the way. We've just talked there about what Manchester United have got to spend. Because of the likes of Jadon Sancho digging his heels in, we haven't got a lot. It may come down to it where Manchester United only managed to bring in 1 more player this transfer window of importance, and then everyone will go into meltdown. Look, I still think we will find a goalkeeper from somewhere. I think we will bring one of them in. And then it's going to be a flip of the coin, I feel, right now. Just going off the way the news around Sancho and obviously Marcus Rashford is going, with no way of selling them at the moment. Look, if we sold Jadon Sancho, I'd feel a lot more comfortable. If we sold Anthony, I'd feel even more comfortable with that one. On Anthony, we do have an update as well. And so let's get into the Anthony situation, and we'll get into some more of your comments, everyone. Thanks for that as well, Ray. Appreciate that, buddy, for that super chat. Keep your comments coming in, everybody. And also, please do, if you haven't already, hit the like button on the video, everyone, please. If you haven't already subscribed as well, hit that subscribe button. We're on the march to 90,000. We're closing in, everybody. Thank you again if you already have subscribed to the channel. and all of your support throughout the shows. It's been an absolute ball, and we are marching at the moment. But yeah, I will keep you up to date with everything. And everything includes all of the outs right now. We've covered Sancho, we covered Rashford last night, Antony, and the situation with him right now and where we're actually at. That's another interesting one because that has had developments today. That has had actual updates as well. And it's regarding the president again of Real Betis coming out and saying that Manchester United and Betis are in constant communication. They are going to do everything in their power to take Antony. They're going to try and be creative with the transfer. He has committed to them. This is what the president is saying. He's committed to them. He's given them their time. He's willing to drop his wages. And he's come out again and he's been speaking to Spanish reporters and Spanish media talking about the situation with Antony. They are not going to do themselves out of, or they're not going to do themselves financially, breaking their backs to try and bring Antony in. They have to be very creative. And his words said, like we have been before to bring transfers in, we are going to do it again with Antony. Now, what that means, I don't know. Can they make something happen with Antony? I'm not too sure. I don't believe in it. I think Antony won't end up at Real Betis unless United buckle. I think as long as Manchester United break even with Antony, I think they'll let him go to Betis. And like I've said before, Antony brings us a massive bargaining chip when it comes to PSR and what we're up against. So I've got confidence in Antony going. Garnacho, very, very quiet. That's another one that we've got to deal with. The only news we've got on Garnacho is that Manchester United probably are willing to drop the price of Garnacho. That's it. That's all we've got. And that, I feel, is, again, it's important because we're going to have to, I think, just to get him out of the bleeding door. And nothing at all on him. And maybe, again, when July hits, other clubs, I've said this before, other clubs will come in pretty much like Antony's situation, have a bit more money to spend, reevaluate the finances, go again. So let's see what comes of that. But nothing at all on Garnacho at the moment is a little bit concerning because we'd expect a few bites. Now, the reports are saying there is interested parties. Again, no, like every other player, no bids. The only bid Manchester United have had for any player is Real Betis' loan share option with Antony. That's it. There is nothing else on the table apart from reports and speculation of offers going in. And on this, you could say that there is a loan offer for Rashford, there's a loan offer for Sancho. Yeah, I mean concrete, actual transfer offers. There is one for Real Betis, and that's obviously a dual ownership model of Antony where they sell him on and United take over 50% of the sell on and things like that, but United have already binned that off along with another loan with an option to buy. So Betis are going to have to come back to the table again. It all comes back to what Fabrizio Romano said when he said that Manchester United fans, I'm sorry, you are going to have to be patient when it comes to this. And I kind of agree with him. I think this is a complex, very, very complicated situation Manchester United are dealing with the outgoing side of things. And it's always going to be that way for United. It really is. Let's get some more comments on this. Betis made around 50 million euros. They can definitely buy Antony. We just don't know what their finances are. I don't know what you mean by 50 million euros. Where did they get that from, mate? One Samurai says, pushing for 90k subscribers before the start of the season. Please subscribe. Thank you for that, buddy. How exactly does Antony do anything for PSR? His wages aren't that high. 200 grand a week? Yes, they are. I think 200 grand a week wages. How does he do anything for PSR? Okay, so not having installments of near 20 million a season plus near 15 million in wages that he wants as well. Like, to save yourself 30 million a year and then maybe go out and get another player to replace Antony with on a similar structure but a better one. Yeah, I think Antony does make a big difference to PSR, mate. I'm sorry. When you calculate someone on 200 grand a week wages and costing 100 million, costing us 20 million in PSR, facts, that's from the football finance experts, Antony leaving and breaking even and that debt gone plays a big part in PSR. So yes, Antony allows us to go out and spend on a big player if we want to. He's massive for getting out of this football club. the black and white of transfers isn't what it used to be. You don't sell a player for 70 million, have 70 million to spend. It doesn't work like that. You have to buy out contracts. You have to clear debts. You have to obviously then go and find a replacement. And it's all done in installments. Again, I've said this many a times on the PSR side of things. Actually, just on that, there is a story going around regarding Bryan Mbeumo. Now, United are expected to get Bryan Mbeumo done quite soon. And we know his medical is booked. But Manchester United, in fact, I've seen the story earlier on, that Manchester United are trying, I think it came from the MEN, trying to get Bryan Mbeumo done before Tuesday so they can get him on June's financial figures. Now, that's interesting. Now, I didn't think that United would be pushing for that. There's no drastic need to do it, but it shows you where Manchester United's finances are for this actual financial year right now. The fact that we could get Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha done. Now, that's a story that's running it. I've never believed it. I never thought United were under that much strain to try and get him done in June. I think we can afford to get him done in July as well. But it makes you think, have United actually got any money aside for the July period? And can we get something done then? That could be an interesting one that we could look into as well. That might actually come about where Manchester United indeed do actually have a little bit more freedom financially for the next financial year. I personally can't see it, because the next financial year will be calculating in the competitions we're in. And Man United went all the way in the Europa League. So the gate receipts and all the money coming in from last season, which is the one financial year we're in now, would have helped us a lot. Might actually be why we're actually buying Mbeumo and Cunha now. Because maybe the next financial year is a crap one. Because we've not got Champions League or European football or them extra gate receipts and them actual revenues and different prize monies that the European football brings in. That, I think, is why Man United might be trying to squeeze Mbeumo in now. Because then it moves on to the next year. And obviously Manchester United have spent a lot of that money already that we have saved. And we have made some big savings. Obviously, this would have been brought in by the cuts that Manchester United have made with the staff as well. The 450 members of staff that have been let go, and all of them actual figures being taken off the books and everything like that again. So yeah, just to go over the top story again there for you all, so in case you have just joined us, a few just coming in. Manchester United will know that Douglas Luiz at Juventus, who we're tracking, is approximately 21 million. Leeds have come in. Corriere dello Sport reporting that Leeds have approached Juventus for Douglas Luiz. They cannot afford him. He's on 82 grand a week wages, and Leeds can't afford that. So Manchester United, if they were to up Douglas Luiz's wages, it wouldn't cost a lot for the football club. And 21 million is a bargain. But United are worried about his injury record. Manchester United apparently are going in with a £34 million bid for Kanaseki, the goalkeeper at Atalanta. Obviously there as well is Ederson, his teammate. Could United be going for a double deal to Atalanta to try and make something happen there? These are all ifs and buts going through this transfer window. Obviously, there are nothing definite. It's just Manchester United again doing the rounds, trying to get as much information as they possibly can ready for when they sell players. Which then took us on to Jadon Sancho, who is holding out for Juventus, who can't afford his wages. The one club that can afford his wages is Fenerbahce, who he doesn't want to go to because he wants to play in one of Europe's top 5 leagues, even though Fenerbahce are in the Champions League. And that is Jadon Sancho's situation. He is holding out, trying to make this difficult for Manchester United. And again, like I said, he is holding all the cards when it comes to how this deal moves forward. In terms of anything incoming-wise, again, anywhere else, we obviously have had the reports. I don't know if you've seen it today. Christian Folk has come out and said, again, Manchester United, Felix and Mecca, another player that we have been linked with before, Manchester United are interested. Again, don't think anybody cares about being interested. And it starts to then grind on you a little bit as a United fan, thinking that there is nothing bleeding happening. It has been a very, very quiet end to what has been a very, very busy week for Manchester United. And I think everybody just wanted a little bit more. Let's get Mbeumo done, hopefully, this weekend. And let's move on to July, I think. The weekend could be interesting in terms of news. It could, because this is the last chance that teams have got to register anybody before, obviously, the transfer window moves on to July and the next financial year. So make sure that you stay in tune throughout the weekend as well. I've got a feeling it is going to be a bit of a blockbuster one. Let's get into the comments on everything though as well. Let's give you your chance to have your say. Mbeumo new at the F1 what was... sorry, Mbeumo knew at the F1 what was up. He looked so happy and relaxed. I think he just does naturally anyway, doesn't he? He's one of them chilled out guys. Let's see what else we've got in here. Comment why Douglas Luiz ? Fans again settling for less than would moan when the player flops. Same cycle every season. It's alright saying them things. It's alright coming out with that sort of sarcastic comments and laughing at people who would like Douglas Luiz. But I don't see another option in that comment there. Is that Mujadid? I think that's how you say the name. Who would you bring in then? So I always say this. Everyone's got a chance to have a say on the channel and come in with a comment. If you want to have a go, that's fine. Maybe add a bit of context to it though, rather than just coming in with a nonsensical sort of stab at people who actually might want Douglas Luiz. I actually come back with something else as well, like who would you bring in then? Because we're looking here at the options that are open to Manchester United, and in the reality of the situation, there isn't many. And so that's what we're looking at, and that's why the conversation has gone that way. Let's see. Isn't Luiz for 20 to 30 million would be better than Ederson, who would cost upwards of 60 million? Not to say Luiz played his best football in England, and he openly admitted he loved England. Yep, you could say that, but then United are looking at Douglas Luiz's record of 20 games missed last season because of injury. And why are Juventus selling him if he's that good? If he's on 80 grand a week wages, why are you looking to sell him if he's that good? He's only been there, what, 2 years? That's got to be a question that's asked. And yet, he might be just because he doesn't like it in Italy, and his football might suit him better over in England. It may be. It may be. But look, I don't think we're going to know until the deal happens anyway. And does Luiz walk right into our side? That's another thing that we've been talking about. We're looking for players that are going to help Manchester United right now. We're looking for players that are going to actually help this starting 11. That's what we need. And Ederson is proven quality. And I just feel if, say for instance, we sold Garnacho and that gave us the money to go out and buy a striker and a midfielder, I would pick Ederson over Douglas Luiz every single day of the week personally. Above both of them, though, I do like the other option of Paulinho. I still hold on to him as the better midfielder for Manchester United, because I think we could get Paulinho, then Casemiro leaves, and then I think we can go for Adam Wharton next summer. I do. Obviously, we've got Zaire Emery as well, who's been linked with Manchester United from PSG as another midfield option. That could always come about. You just don't know. You don't know. We'll see, won't we, though, on that one. But yeah, that is pretty much where Manchester United are at with the transfers at the moment, everybody. And that pretty much sums up our show. A little bit of an early one. I am out tonight. I do apologise. I've got to go and do my presentation for the women's team. So yeah, big night for Kaz tonight and all of the girls. So yeah, we're out early. Presentation starts around where I would normally do my show. So again, thank you everybody for being with us on the early one. I know it's not the normal slots, but get your comments in. I'll look through a few of them later on as well. Please do give a like on the video as well if you're loving the content, everybody, and make sure you hit that subscribe button also, please. You have been absolutely on it so far this summer. June has been an absolute mad one. I will be back later tonight. If something breaks, I'm there still. Even if I've had a few pints, I'm on it. I can't let it go. We'll enjoy the night, but let's see what news drops. And then we're back again, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, everyone, with all of your updates. And Saturday's usually quite a busy one, to be honest. So make sure that you tuned in for that one, everyone. And then we'll see how far we are with these rumours that we've been talking about today as well. But for now, that is it. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, mods, again in the chat. I will see you all later on. Have a great evening, people. Let's hope that we do get some news so we can actually go into the weekend a little bit more upbeat. At the moment, it's feeling a tiny little bit flat because nothing is happening, but let's just get Mbeumo done. That's coming soon, and then we can move forward.